Today I am making my son kimchi stew and rice. I have 4 cups of rice in here, and I'm going to show you how much I wash it before I cook it. Washing rice is a really important step. So that water is really milky. If you pour this into a container and let it sit, you can collect that and it will settle to the bottom and it becomes starch powder, rice starch. And you pour off the water after you rinse it a few times and let it dry. And you crumble it up and put it into a blender, and then you have rice starch. Now you can see the water is mostly clear in the last rinse. And now I'm going to show you how much water I add to the rice. It took me a long time to learn how to properly cook rice. Alright, so you see that there's about, it's up to my knuckle, there's about half an inch to it, like between half an inch and an inch of water between the top of the rice and the top of the water. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more. And that should be the perfect amount of water for this. So you want like, you know, a knuckle's worth between the rice and the water, the top of the water. This is an old pot that was supposed to be used for deep frying. I find it works great for cooking my rice. I turn it up on high, and then I wait for it to come to a boil, and then I turn it down to 3 or 4, and I let it simmer until it's mostly cooked. There was something on the burner, sorry. And this hole really creates the perfect situation for the rice to cook. I'm going to start the soup stock. Oh, kicked the camera. I'm going to start the soup stock for the kimchi stew now. I'm just putting a piece of kelp in. And I have these dashi stock powder packets. I like mine really flavorful, so I'm adding 2. And now I'm out, and I'm very sad. But it'll be okay. I have other things, like I have the fish flakes to make the actual dashi with, so it should be fine. Pantry challenge, man. Are you all done? Alright, bring it to mommy, I'll do it. Yes.
I'm gonna cut something.
Mommy's making a kimchi stew. Are you excited?
Like cabbage.
Here I'm starting to cut the vegetables up for the soup. This is 1 cup of daikon radish and about 1/3 of a cup of carrot and 1/4 of a napa cabbage, which probably comes out to about 2 cups. I didn't put all of that cabbage into the soup, but I put most of it in. Now I'm going to stick all of those vegetables into the pot along with about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of kimchi and about a tablespoon of gochugaru flakes, which are Korean red chili flakes. They're really delicious and add a nice spicy kick to the soup. The kimchi was so good. This is the best kimchi stew I've made ever because I used this kimchi. I will go back. The restaurant that I got it from sells Korean side dishes on the side, as well as, you know, cooking delicious food, which was super awesome. So I'm going to go back to that place. In this skillet, I added some sesame oil, and this is just about 1 cup of daikon radish and the rest of that cabbage. I'm going to saute it up and caramelize it. Now I'm going to slice some tofu to put into the pan and cube some tofu to put into the soup. Usually I use soft tofu for the soup, but today I don't have any, so I'm using the firm, and I just diced it up into cubes, and my kids really like that way too. I'm going to let the vegetables in this skillet caramelize and then add some bibimbap sauce at the end of the process. Alright friends, so this is an experiment. These are radish peelings. I've had dried radishes before, and I'm not sure if it was the peeling or if it was little like rectangular chunks that they had cut, but I'm trying to dry these, and then after you dry them, you wash them and cook them with a few different sauces, and I found it really tasty when I bought them from the store, so I'm going to try to do it myself and see what happens. It's an experiment now, so it might not work out. We'll see. I'm seasoning my rolled omelet pan right now. When we haven't used it since we moved, and I guess when we moved it got exposed to a little bit of water, so it oxidized a little bit, so I just want to re-season it and make sure it's nice and coated. While we are doing that, I want to tell you guys what everybody had for breakfast. All my kids had oatmeal. It's a simple morning. It's Saturday. And I have not eaten yet. It's because I have not gotten the opportunity. It's not that I don't want to. I'm making this food for everybody. And once this food is done, I will eat it. But it's a simple morning. It's noon right now, so my son is having a bowl of canned soup and some black bean queso flavored chips from Costco with it. And my other two will come down and have this spread with me when it is finished cooking. In these eggs, I just put a little bit of mirin and put a little bit more. It adds to the sweetness. And I'm going to put a little bit of rice wine vinegar in here. This is just a leftover kimchi jar that I used to put my bulk rice wine vinegar in. And I'm just going to do a little dash of soy sauce and whisk it up. Now traditionally you can put like vegetables in this and stuff. I'm running low on my vegetables, so I'm not going to do that this morning. And I don't have any lunch meat or any cheese that I want to put in this, so I'm just going to make it like this. And I'm going to mix up some mayonnaise that I have with a little bit of this, just because I'm craving this stuff. This is that relish that they put on subs at Subway. It tastes exactly the same. And I found it at the store a little bit ago, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. So that's what I'm going to put on my eggs today. It's not traditional, but it's what I'm doing. And cooking my rice for about 20 minutes now, and when it starts to get this little peak in it with separation, what you do is you turn off the heat and let it sit, so that if there's anything sticking to the bottom, the humidity inside the pot helps separate that, and it makes it easy to fluff and get out of the pot. I used to have a rice cooker. It broke, and I've just been using this pot for the last couple of years, and it's working out great. Is bibimbap sauce. I'm just gonna set out the fire alarm and put some in here. Seasoning the cast iron pan is really doing a number this morning. We're all about action in this house. Where? Now that's fixed. will start to egg mixture. So the eggs stuck today. I'm kind of bummed out. So what I'll have to do is, you know, take this stuff off of it, clean it up, re-season it, and maybe season it a second time after that, and then let it sit and cool off, because I didn't do that step this time, and I was supposed to. So I will do that, and hopefully next time I use this, it won't stick. It's never stuck before, but again, I haven't used it in over a year. Just been using my other pans and being lazy, so yeah, I'll get this thing fixed up, and it'll turn out great next time. You know, I was kind of bummed out because it stuck, but it turned out fine anyway. So, let's just go with that. It looks great. Go ahead and slice it into little rolls. And let it sit up for a minute before I start serving the plates. This is what our lunch looks like today. We have kimchi stew, rice, vegetable stir fry, and egg roll. And I'm going to put a little bit of this over top of my eggs just because it's what I want today. And this is just lunchtime. I'll have a dinner to show you guys later on. I also made 2 loaves of bread today. It did not turn out. I did not have my normal oat milk, but that's okay. I will experiment and get it back to where it needs to be, and I will show you guys my recipe that is altered for food storage use. This cheese has been in my refrigerator for a couple of months now in the original Azure packaging. There's no mold, but I want to go ahead and process it up and get it into my freezer and put the convenient pieces in my cheese drawer just to make sure that I don't waste any of it.
Mommy, are you making these?
Yeah.
Oh, that was tasty. We will eat it.
You want some?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Now I bought this block of cheese and that 5-pound block of white cheddar back in September or August, and it's January now, so it's been sitting. It might have been October. I'll have to go back and look, but it's been sitting in my refrigerator that whole time waiting to be processed, and they held up great. So when they shipped them, they were clearly extremely fresh, which makes me happy. And processed in a very clean facility because no mold has happened in that time frame. Now that was 10 pounds of cheese. We've probably gone through about maybe 3 or 4 pounds in 3 or 4 months, so like a pound a month. We don't eat a lot of cheese, so it really lasts and keeps us for a long time when I do buy the 5-pound block. So that's why I buy the 5-pound block to get the best price and the best quality, and I freeze it to preserve it. Plus, I don't like the idea of having cellulose in my cheese. Weirds me out. The non-caking agent that they use that keep it from sticking together.
There are a lot of these.
Yes, there is.
Let me give you all.
You can have some. There you go. So out of that one 3.5 to 4 pound block of cheese, we have this giant gallon-sized baggie shredded. I'm just gonna kind of decompress this a little bit so that when I need to, I can just grab it out of the bag. And we have this baggie of cubes. They're both going into the deep freeze. Another project finished. It's time to put away the candied orange slices and clean the table. These turned out great and I highly recommend trying them. I'm recording right now just because I have a quiet moment in the house. Tonight we're going to have these leftover cornbread, green chili, and white cheddar waffles that I made the other day. I'm going to top them with this Madras lentils from Costco. And we have some shredded cheese that I just shredded up, cream cheese, and maybe some green chili salsa to put over top of that if you really want to. And that's what it's going to be for dinner. Really simple, using a leftover and a pantry quick item. These don't necessarily need to be used during the pantry challenge. Let's see. Because they are good until next October, but it goes together, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. All done washing the dishes. I loaded the dishwasher, and all I have to do later is heat up that really quick dinner I showed you earlier, and I'll show it to you when I do that. This dinner was really hearty and filling, and it was a great choice for tonight. We all really enjoyed it. I forgot to add the sugar. These are like rocks.